Yes, good evening everyone. Welcome to Lukmaan IAS. This is DTRS session, Daily Takkar Rapid Series. So these lectures are important for your current affairs preparation of prelims examination. These MCQs are being compiled as 200 MCQ magazine, as DTRS magazine, available on subscription basis at Lukmaan IAS website. So you can subscribe for that also and practice later on all these MCQs. This is going to be important resource for your prelims preparation. Now, today's lead topic is what is electroencephalography. This term was in news from science and tech. We can expect such kind of term-based questions. And the first MCQ will discuss on this topic and other 9 MCQs based on 9 relevant topics of the day. And let's go in detail and solve these MCQs. But before that, daily we are also discussing quotations that have been asked in ethics paper since 2013. Now it is going to help you for mains examination preparation, ethics paper. We are briefly discussing all these, let's say, quotations. Mains 2018 GS4 ethics paper. The quote is by Abraham Lincoln. What he is saying, the true rule in determining to embrace or reject anything is not whether it has evil in it, but whether it has more evil than good. So what he is trying to convey here, when the government takes any decision, the state takes decision. So basically, in such decision, it is basically a challenge before the government. What is the challenge? The challenge is whether it has more evil than good. So the result of that action, that decision, whether it will do more harm than good. This is, let's say, teleology or consequentialism जो हम बोलते हैं, teleology. तो ends are more important than means, जिसको हम बोलते हैं teleology. We learn in ethics paper. So basically, many times the government takes into consideration the end result before taking the decision, and in deciding those end results, the government ensures that the more good is ensured than evil. So this is we can say that the focus. There are few things wholly evil or wholly good. ठीक है, बहुत ही ऐसे कम चीजें होती है जो wholly good और wholly bad होते हैं. ठीक है, तो you can take any example, killing a person, we can say wholly bad thing. ठीक है, but अगर हम देखते हैं तो उसमें भी एक चीज आ जाती है. अगर वॉर एथिक्स की बात करते हैं तो वॉर में the soldiers are supposed to kill the other soldier from the other enemy country. तो वहां पे भी हम देखते हैं कि wholly, है ना. तो basically there are very few things wholly evil and wholly good. ठीक है, तो almost everything, especially government policy. Now here the specific term government policy is inseparable compound of these two. That is wholly evil, wholly good. ठीक है, तो inseparable compound of these two. So there will be some evil, some good in that policy, or the result will be something like that. And that's why our best judgment of the preponderance means we can say that the priority given to any particular over the other between them. So preponderance between them, that is evil and good, is continuously demanded. So basically, when the government takes any decision, there should be preponderance for good over the evil. And this should be continuously, we can say, debated and before taking the decision. This is how civil servants also take into consideration what will be the outcome of his or her actions. ठीक है, so this is how we should explain some examples. You can talk about government policies also. ठीक है, तो गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन. ये भी एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं ना. एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन, प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर. So Project Tiger ensures that there is a protection given to the tigers, keystone species, flagship species and all. It will result into environment protection also. But what about the people living in tiger reserves? So we have to relocate them. This is what the rules says. And they are losing on their rights. They are basically becoming destitutes, although we are rehabilitating them. But again, the problem of rehabilitation, you can understand the, let's say, the psychological trauma they are facing and the problems of social life. So basically there will be evil, but government decisions or policies should ensure more good than evil. ठीक है. Same is for national security versus human rights. National security versus human rights. So you can take about UPSPA. Take example of UPSPA. So in UPSPA, more powers are given, less accountability, but to ensure national security, ठीक है, law and order, human rights violations are there. ठीक है, तो we consider here national good as let's say national security as more we can say good for whole country. समझ में आ रहा है ये? आपको इस तरीके से एग्जांपल देने आने चाहिए. ठीक है, and only talk about let's say government administration, government policies, because it is specifically talking about government. All right, let's talk about now next. But before that, announcement related to ethics case studies batch, which has started today only, 17th of July. So without any delay, do join this for your preparation of mains 2024 examination. It is very, very important. Okay, so 17th of July, there will be total 8 sessions, 180 plus case studies will be provided to you for practice, and Ansari sir will discuss them in the classroom. So it is going to enhance your preparation for a case studies part of ethics paper. Also, GS Foundation batch is going to start from 26th August 2024 at Lukmaan IAS. So there is also a Bright Mind scholarship test on 11th of August. Daily I am announcing this. Those deserving candidate, अगर आपके पहचान में कोई ऐसा है जिसमें थोड़ा सा इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन से आता है, उनको आप बताइए. 11th of August scholarship test is there. Okay, to take admission in foundation batch of Lukmaan IAS. Now these are the 10 topics of the day. Let's discuss these topics one by one in detail through MCQs. बताइए क्या आंसर होना चाहिए इसका? What should be the answer? So there was an article in the Hindu newspaper talking about electroencephalography. This technology has got 100 years completed in the field of medicine. That's why it was in news. What is this technology? Electroencephalography or let's say encephalographs, basically they show or involve placing electrodes on the scalp of the person यहाँ पे to detect the brain activity. So we know that our brain activity is somehow the electric pulses, it works on electric pulses, minute level. So to detect them, basically this particular test is conducted. So C is the correct answer. So in detail you need not to know about that. ठीक है, इतना डिटेल में यूपीएससी नहीं पूछता है कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में. Now about International Civil Aviation Organization. So this organization was in news, so we are asking this question. बताइए क्या आंसर होना चाहिए? This can be asked in your current affairs, let's say part of your syllabus, international organizations. It is specialized agency of United Nations. This is correct. We can say it is formed in 1944. At present, there are 193 members, and including India. So India is also a member. यहाँ पे लिखा है, देखिए third statement सही है. It is responsible for management of airports around the world. No. Airport management is the responsibility of respective governments, respective countries. ठीक है, this particular organization is responsible for setting some standards related to safety, efficiency, and other standards. We can say all the standards, they are set by in a civil aviation organization. So it is not related to airport management. 1 and 3. So C is the correct answer here, right? Okay, now yes, about yellow-legged bottom-quill. So this particular bird species was observed in Ahmedabad urban area, so that's why it was in news. Yellow-legged bottom-quill is particularly we can say found in South Asia and Southeast Asia. So it is not endemic to subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. This is incorrect. Listed as vulnerable on IUCN, so it's not vulnerable. Conservation status is least concern. ठीक है, least concern है. The females are slightly larger and more brightly colored than males. Now this is correct, we can say. You can see we are asking some characteristics, the vulnerability, conservation status, habitat aspect. So they are asked in your examination. So how many statements or which statement? Only 3. That is C is the correct answer here. C is the correct answer. All right. Then UK India Young Professional Scheme, basically this is a ballot based scheme, ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर randomly जो है हाँ क्या आंसर होना चाहिए बताइए इसमें, just a moment. आ गया अभी, ठीक है. Yes, so I was talking about this particular scheme wherein the Indian citizens are allowed to go in UK and work there. So the scheme allows young professionals from India to live and work in UK for up to 2 years. This is correct, we can say. It aims to permit visas for Indian citizens between this year old. Now this is incorrect factually. 18 to 30 years. Young professionals बोला गया 18 to 13 years. This is incorrect. The scheme is part of broader initiative to strengthen economic ties between UK and India. Very obvious, we can say. So 1 and 3 again, B is the correct answer here. Okay? Yes, this particular scheme has started. That's why it was in news. Selection process. Now, money bill. So recently Supreme Court has agreed that the petitions related to, let's say, the money bill being used by the government to pass the other provisions, ठीक है, तो ये जो बाईपास करके स्क्रूटिनी वाला रूट लिया जा रहा है पिछले कई साल से, so there were several petitions and Supreme Court has agreed that it will listen into those petitions. So that's why money bill was in news. This year also there was question on money bill. Last year also there was question on money bill. So it is very common topic. In past many times UPSC has asked. Money bill is basically the bill having the provisions from Article 110. Basically it is, we can say that the money bill which is, let's say, having provisions related to largely taxation. ठीक है, largely taxation. So it can be introduced only in Lok Sabha, we can say. This is correct. So it cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. The Speaker of Lok Sabha certifies the bill as money bill. This is correct. And then it is sent to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha can discuss, debate and suggest some amendments. Within 14 days, it has to be returned to the lower house, that is Lok Sabha. And Lok Sabha can accept those amendments or reject them also. If Rajya Sabha does not, let's say, pass that bill within 14 days, it will be presumed as passed. ठीक है? The president can either give assent to the money bill or withhold it, but cannot return it for reconsideration. This is also true. All three statements are correct here. So we can say that D is the correct answer here. All right. The terms Tushil and Tumal, Tamal were in recently in news. तो क्या है ये? Tushil and Tamal are Talwar class stealth frigates. Warships जिसको बोलते हैं, frigates. And we are buying them from Russia. So it was in news. So Russia is going to deliver these two in this year and next year. Indian Navy's newly commissioned warship. ठीक है, तो C is the correct answer. Okay. All right. Then in the context of custodial deaths in India, consider the following statement. So there was one custodial death in MP of Pardhi Samaj, जिसको Pardhi community, उनका जो एक let's say person जो है उसको अरेस्ट कर दिया, तो उसका custodial death हुआ था. In protest of that, several women had actually protested outside the police station in MP. So that's why it was in news. Regarding custodial deaths, yes, it is the human right violation, and National Human Rights Commission, that is the statutory body under NHRC Act 1992, responsible for investigating into complaints regarding custodial deaths. It is a human right issue. Then section 176 clause 3 of Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Samhita. Earlier it was the Code of Criminal Procedure, CRPC. So now it is basically the new act, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita, the three laws which are, let's say, replace the earlier three laws from 1st July of 2024. Now it is being implemented. Mandates a judicial inquiry into cases of custodial deaths. Yes, there is a provision to hold the government and the administration accountable for the custodial deaths. There can be judicial inquiry. So both statements are correct here, and answer would be C, right? Okay. Now, how many of the above given leopard species, subspecies are classified as endangered under IUCN Red List? Okay, so leopard species, there are several subspecies within that, and Arabian leopard is critically endangered. Javan leopard is endangered status, I'm saying. Then we can say that African and Indian together we can say they are having status of vulnerable. Okay, vulnerable. So endangered किसका एक ही है, Javan leopard. So A is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. I'll take it as information. So आपको शायद पता नहीं होगा तो चीजें याद रखनी है, right? With the let's say with reference to foreigners tribunals, consider the following statements. Foreigners tribunal, they are quasi-judicial bodies, tribunals established under Citizenship Act. This is incorrect. Although they decide about the citizenship of the person, whether they are foreigners or Indians, but the act that decides or let's say deals with that is Foreigners Act of 1946 and the Foreigners Tribunal Order of 1964. देखिए कैसे याद रखना है, 6446, ठीक है, 6446 ऐसे याद रखना है. Order under this the foreigner tribunals are set up basically and they are governed. Only foreigner tribunals are empowered to declare the person as foreigner. That is true, we can say, under this order and statutory provisions. So only two, that is B is the correct answer. And the last question for the day. Yes, particular report, Navigating New Horizons, a global foresight report on planetary health and human well-being. Now this report was recently released by UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. So this is correct. You may get confused with IUC and IPCC also. IPCC largely deal with the climate change. Okay, IUCN talks largely about conservation of flora and fauna, but UNEP is broader. ठीक है, तो ये broader aspect है, वो logic use करना है. ठीक है, B is the correct answer. All right, I was talking about the Bright Minds scholarship test. Remember, it will be offline test on 11th August morning 10, and it will be held on offline test centers Delhi, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Jammu and Pune. The test will be based on the basic knowledge that you have from NCERT reading and last 6 months of current affairs. The past papers of scholarship test of Lukmaan IAS, you can scan this and you can let's say go through them. Similar level of difficulty level will be there. And if you have not registered yet, do register for this test. This is going to be a game changer for all of you, especially those from let's say preparing from remote locations in India and they are following these sessions in the let's say regular manner, and if you are helping, you are getting help, तो आपने ये डिसीजन लेना चाहिए, आपको यहाँ पर बेनिफिट मिलेगा. Okay, fine. One more let's say small announcement related to the year-long test series of geography optional that is going to start from the 27th of July. So there will be total 36 tests. ठीक है, 36 tests होंगे total. The foundation before prelims 22 tests. Almost each chapter of geography will have one test. In geomorphology and climatology, there will be 2 tests. Then transitional test before your prelims, 4 full-length mock tests will be there, and they are transitional in nature, a moderate level of difficulty. And after prelims, the enrichment test, there will be total 8 sectional tests and 2 full-length mock tests. So this is how the year-long test series program for geography we have started. It is going to start from 27th of July, and if you want to know more about these tests and you are let's say very much eager to prepare for 2025 attempt with geography optional, do contact Lukmaan IAS and I am there to guide you. Okay, try to have the counseling session with me and I will give you details about the test series and how we are going to proceed.